Hi, good evening, and welcome to another episode of my Infinite Playlist. For tonight, it's Saturday night, the 31st of October 2020, and in a day's time, and actually in a couple of hours' time, it's going to be November. But for my Infinite Playlist tonight, I'm going to be talking about some of my uh, records from the 1990s. Again, it's only some, it's not everything, okay? And some I'll just breeze by, some I'll talk at certain length because they mean a bit more. We're gonna start out with uh, this band at the drive-in, Relationship of Command. When I first heard them, they were at the Vans Warped Tour, and I was just blown away because when you go to the Vans Warped Tour, you're kind of expecting uh, punk and hardcore bands, but they were different. They were very different, but they were not the only band that sounded different in the Vans Warped Tour. They were just amazing. I thought they were a mix of progressive rock, alternative rock, and with some shoegaze elements strung in there. They were absolutely amazing, and there. So this is the first record that I got from them. I was able to get another, but I really don't know what happened to that record. I think I probably left it in New York City. I do have all the rest of their albums on compact disc though. So when I first got this, it was on compact disc, and then I eventually got this vinyl copy. What I like about them is that the way they channels modern psychedelia and all this weird stuff. It's like Coheed and Cambria, except they're Coheed and Cambria is really progressive, but these guys are something else. There's something bizarre about this about at the drive-in, and in fact later when they split up into a couple of bands and Sparta and the Mars Volta, I was just even more blown away. And I remember watching the Mars Volta. I never saw Sparta. I kind of like Sparta because they were a little more raw, a little more 90s hard rock or emo with some emo in there. But the Mars Volta continued whatever at the drive-in was doing. They took it to a higher level of weirdness and modern day progressive psychedelia. That's how I term their music. Okay, this is their recent album at the drive-in, and it's pretty good. It's good. It's like they picked up from where they left off, and it was nice. To be honest, I didn't think they'd get back together, but they did, and it's pretty awesome. During the 90s, when I think about the 1990s, obviously I think about the Philippine alternative scene, but just so much was going on abroad. There was grunge, there was Brit rock, uh, there was trip hop, and there was rap metal coming up. And then, of course, you had the shoegaze bands there that, although they were short lived, but I loved the shoegaze movement back then. So now I mentioned trip hop, and Hoover Phonic was a band that I just took a chance on. I didn't even know what they sounded like, and I think during the 90s, you tried to discover as many bands as you can, even if you didn't know them. There was a lot of hit and miss. I think I picked up some albums that were just not very good, in my opinion. And with this one, I did take a chance. I was just blown away. It's a very, very good album. Inhaler, Twiki, plus Profound, Barabbas, it's just a really, really good record. And, it's like, I wouldn't really say they're trip hop. They're just European in terms of very European. Well, they are from Belgium, but they're when I think of Hooverphonic, it's like some of those 4AD records that I first heard, except that I prefer this more. I think the 4AD stuff were weird. This one isn't weird. This one's just very European, you know. I love it. Uh, I'm a fan. I have all their albums. This is the only one that I have on vinyl. Everything else I have on CD, including Jackie Kane and all that stuff. So hopefully I'll be picking up a few more of their vinyls. But this one I got a long time ago by chance, and I was just so happy to be able to pick up this one that I became a fan of Hooverphonics. I have all their stuff. Interpol, one of the my favorite records of all time. This is my soundtrack during my days in New York City. Um, I heard them on the radio one time, and I was just blown away. I said, "What the hell is that music?" I it was you could hear the new wave influence of the band, but they had taken it into a different direction, an edgier sound. You could somewhat detect Joy Division, New Order, and some of those Brit rock bands, but they were uniquely their own. And I remember I first got the CD of this one. I only got the record later on. I got the CD, and they had a signing session one time, but the line was just so long, I wasn't able to make it anywhere near the front. And then I got to see them at Randall's Island, where they opened for The Cure during the Curiosa tour. They were one of two opening acts. I think it was the Postal Service, which was the other band that opened, and the other band of Ben Gibbard of Death Cab for Cutie. And now I'm just really not into the Postal Service. They're okay, but nah, I prefer Death Cab for Cutie. But when Interpol was the band right before the Cure took the stage, and they were just amazing. They performed something like 6 or 7 songs. That was just amazing. They performed the songs from Turn on the Bright Lights. To this day, this is one of my favorite albums. I just really love this band. All their succeeding albums I have on compact disc. It's the only one that I got on vinyl. Kula Shaker, 12-inch single of Govinda. Um, I have their stuff on vinyl, a lot of their records, and I'm just a big fan of Kula Shaker. I love that they imbued Indian music with elements of British rock and psychedelic rock. It's just really good. And it's one of my favorite songs, Govinda. Um, I have a few more of the records. They're somewhere over there. They're probably not here because um, here it is. All right, this is their debut, K, where Govinda comes from. This is the 20th anniversary edition. Because when this came out, I picked this one up as well as the CD. And, I became a fan of theirs. And I had to get all their succeeding albums that I absolutely love. And the artwork, the covered artworks by Dave Gibbons, who used to do a lot of work with Alan Moore. Really great stuff. And I never get tired of this band. I remember, I saw a video of Kula Shaker performing Govinda. I think it was an anniversary, something about between Great Britain and India. And they were amazing when they performed this song. Yeah, I love all the records, all of it. Here's another band that I just discovered on a whim. It's Pure Bathing Culture. And when this came out, I was just really. This came out. Um, well, this is not from the 1990s. It's not. It's from this decade, this past decade. When I first heard them, it was the song Pendulum. And I was just looking, I'd gotten back into shoegaze because of My Bloody Valentine and Lost in Translation. So I was looking for, like, okay, what other bands are there? And I heard Pendulum. from Pure Breathing Culture. And I was just really blown away by that song. I absolutely love it. So, in fact, I've corresponded with the band, and if there were no pandemic, I would have really tried to bring them over. I'm a major fan of the band, and their current drummer is Christopher Icasiano. He's a Phil American. I've written about Christopher, and he plays drums. He's not the original drummer of Pure Bathing Culture, but he's their current drummer now. But unfortunately, they're not doing anything because of the pandemic. My old Ateneo classmate Andrew Yabut. Yes, but I do have Billy Idol's Blue Highway, but I'm not showing it in this particular video. So hi, classmate, and Craig Burrows is watching. Oh, Carol Ramos, my old office mate, and one of my students, and Jeanette, watching. Okay, I hope everyone's safe out there. Here's a record that I picked up in the 1990s from Son Etienne, Tiger Bay. And oh, here, this is the cover. This is the cover of Tiger Bay. They're a British band. Don't mind the name of the French name. Yes, they were named after the football team. But when you listen to them, I think they paved the way for bands like Mandalay, and I love Mandalay. At one point, Madonna called Mandalay one of her favorite bands, and I think they lasted only 2 albums. I have their 2 albums on compact disc, and this Sonnet Young, their music is, I think of them as a modern ABBA. They sometimes it's Euro disco, but there's a lot of, you can hear the Kate Bush influence in Sarah Cracknell's voice in their songs. And I'm just a massive fan of this band. This is the only one that I have on vinyl, only because I got this, to be honest with you, because of the song Marble Lions. I just love that song. All their other stuff I have on compact disc, but this one I got it because of Marble Lions, and I play that song at least once every 2 weeks. I just like it. And this band also influenced Black Box Racer, and that's another British band that came out in the around the 1990s, if I'm not mistaken, in the early years of the new millennium. And they are heavily influenced by this band. Black Box Racer, they had this song that I really like, Saturday Morning, which is, just when I hear it, when I listen to it, when I play it, I'm reminded of Sonic Young. So it's too bad they never got popular, Black Box Racer. So, and there. Ah, the Strokes, this is it. This is the first pressing, the European pressing. I remember when I first got this one. HMV was pushing, how they put like new release, must get, must try, things like that on the racks. And when this came out, and I would go to HMV like 4 times a week, at least 4 times a week, and spend 2 hours every time I was there. Sometimes I'd even go twice a day. So everyone at HMV knew me. So when this came out, the cover just stood out. It's a very fetching cover. And the American cover, just funny, they're from New York City. But the European version is more racy than the American cover that is just really weird. So I picked up the CD of this, and I was blown away. And I went back to HMV the next day because the vinyl stood next. The vinyl rack for the display for this album was just right next to the CD rack that also displayed the compact disc version. So I had to get it. I got it simply because it was a throwback. It's listening to bands like Television, 70s New York bands, and this was just a throwback, and I love them. I'm a big fan of the band. Well, at least until Room on Fire. They've done a few good things over the years, but I think their first 2 albums were really the best. People say the new album's pretty good. I don't have it yet. I have the rest. After Room on Fire, I got everything else on compact disc. I do have a couple of 12-inch singles, which you'll see in another video. But there, I love this record. It's one of my favorites. Veruca Salt, Cedar. Yeah, I remember when this came out from Minty Fresh. Um, the album wasn't out, if I remember it correctly. So I heard Cedar on Alternative Nation, and uh, I went down to. There was this record shop very near the office. So it was at the Silver Record Center in Chim Sha Tsui in Hong Kong. So I went there. They usually put out the CD singles and HMV, and Silver Record Center had a bunch of record stores down there by in the food court. HMV was a couple of streets away along Haiphong Road. They eventually had to move a couple of streets away, but they didn't have the CD single of Cedar. They didn't have that, so I got this one. It's the only one that I have on vinyl. This one, the original first press of urban hymns from the Verve. This is just a great record. There's nothing about this album that I do not like, and I got this a long time ago because uh, everyone was raving about this record, Urban Hymns from the Verve, and I just had to get it. And I did get it. I'm happy that I got it the first time around. So this is something I'm very happy to have in my collection. It um, I'm happy because for one, I got into them at the time that they were breaking out. This is not their debut album, by the way, but I got into the Verve with this album. So I don't have much of their albums, even in compact disc. I probably have a couple, but not many. But this one was just mind blowing. I love their version of Bittersweet Symphony that they totally made their own. From what I understand, Mick Jagger and Keith Richards gave Richard Ashcroft co-songwriting credit because just turned the song around, much better than the Rolling Stones version. Sonnet, I love Sonnet. The Drugs Don't Work. I love Lucky Man. Weeping Willow is just really beautiful. This is the sonic textures on this record. You know, what I like about the Brick bands is how they use strings a lot for brass. One of my all-time favorite bands is British Sea Power, and I love how this band often makes use of cellos, violins to go with their traditional rock and roll sound. But it's different. They're not like Dexy's Midnight Runners. It's more cinematic. It's alternative rock, but in a sweeping cinematic way. And it's also like that with the Verve. Big sounds. And when I think of them, I'm reminded of early Simple Minds, early U2, Big Country, Circa Wonderland. I love this record. It's one of my favorites. Now, the next one I want to show you is a record that I play at least once a week, and it's one of my favorite records of all time. This is Counting Crows, August and Everything After. When I first heard them, we were, I think, the Americans just vacated Subic Bay and they turned the bases around for visitors and all that. So we were in Subic at the time. My family, my dad, my siblings, and I remember that trip very well because I hit my hip on the faucet of the bathroom, and to this day it still hurts because of that. I think it hurt something in my bones or some whatever. So, but I also remember that trip. I don't remember much what we did over there, but I remember getting hit and by the in the sink because I turned around. It bent a little bit low, and I got hit on the faucet, snagged me, and it cut me. And I could see the white of my bone. To be honest, it was that deep. But the other thing I remember that trip to Subic was because I heard Mr. Jones uh, from Counting Crows, and the local radio station must have played it like 5 times in 1 hour. I'm serious, 5 times in 1 hour. So I pretty much gravitated towards that song, and it was on heavy rotation on MTV. And when I got back to Manila, I bought the CD. I bought the CD of Counting Crows, August and Everything After at Musicland at Alimo. That's where I also bought the CD of Actung Baby by U2. The very first CD that I ever bought was The Singular Adventures of the Style Council. I got that there. I got an REM record, the one with CD, the one with Shiny Happy People. So, but this one I got the CD. So it was only recently that I got the vinyl version of August and Everything After. It's such a beautiful, haunting album. There's nothing that I do not like here, but the Rain King is my absolute favorite. You know, I love Anna Begins, Omaha, Round Here, of course, Mr. Jones, Ghost Train. Raining in Baltimore. It's just a really great record. That's why I play it at least once a week. Around the time, here was a band that I discovered, Dave Matthews Band, because the song Ants Marching was a big hit back then. And I liked it right away. And then I think around the same time, rock radio was playing What Would You Say, or even Satellite. So there was a lot. And I had to get the CD. I only got the record of this, like Counting Crows. I got it much later. So I got this on compact disc, Under the Table and Dreaming. I think this was a time when I was going to Club Dread a lot. And I just, yeah, the alternative movement in the States and in Europe became the mainstream. The alternative scene in the Philippines became the mainstream. It was just a really great time to be a rock and roll music fan. And I became a massive fan of the Dave Matthews Band. I have all their stuff, everything. Not everything though is on vinyl. Most are still in compact disc, but my absolute favorites: Under the Table and Dreaming, Crash, of course, beautiful record. What and this one, Come Tomorrow. But all the others I have them on CD. Yeah. I love the artwork for this one. Just love it. I got to see the Dave Matthews Band during their concert at Central Park. The funny story there is I worked half day on that day because it was free. It's at the Great Lawn, so there's no entrance fee or whatsoever. You don't have to pay for anything. So now you have to find some really good space if you want to see the band up close. But if you just want to sit down and chill and listen to the music, you have during the concert, you have to stay way off, far back. But there were a lot of sound stages, speakers. I worked half day, then by the time we got to the Great Lawn, there were just so many people, so I was way in the back. Uh, the plus side of it was one, I could get home early because if I was up front, then I'd be one of the last to get into the subway, and it would be packed with people. So I was there. I even have the DVD of that one. Foo Fighters' Greatest Hits. All their albums I have on CD. This is the only one that I have on vinyl because it's their greatest hits collection. And this is something that you can play again and again and again because they just really make good music. The Foo Fighters. I'm a big fan of this band. I've always thought that Dave Grohl is a genius. He is one of my absolute favorite musicians of all time, and I never get sick and tired of playing this record. My son is also a massive fan of the Foo Fighters. The Black Crowes. I got into them because of their classic rock sound with their first album. And them pairing off with Jimmy Page of Led Zepp. I know they sort of had a falling out with Jimmy Page, but this is like the concert series where they're performing Led Zeppelin songs with Jimmy Page. I love this. I just love this. I play this a lot. Does that make me a Led Zepp fan? Of course. Of course, I grew up a Led Zeppelin fan. Incubus, Make Yourself. Another record that I only got much later on. I first got this on compact disc. I have a lot of their, almost all their albums, almost all on compact disc. And since this is one of my favorite records, you know what, my rule, if I have it on compact disc, I normally don't get the vinyl version. Or if I got the vinyl, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to get the CD. I only get, if for example, I started off by buying the compact disc, if I really, really like it, then I hear good things about the vinyl version, then I get it. So this is one of them. This one, the original pressing of Limp Bizkit's Significant Other. I saw them when they were on tour for this album, and who wasn't a Limp Bizkit fan back then? I mean, they're not that cerebral a band, but they're just meant to be a party or rock band uh, with silliness and all that stuff, and they were fun. And rap metal, I thought that they were one of those who did it best. I love this record. Love this record. And they're a great visual, right? Now, this band came out 20 years ago, Linkin Park. And when they came out, um, when Linkin Park came out, they just blew me away. There was something about them, that raw sound that Chester Bennington brought to their music, and with the beautiful counterplay of Mike Shinoda's rapping, and that is Mike Shinoda's signature. I got him to sign my copy of Hybrid Theory. They were intense. They were one hell of an intense band, and I just really liked this record. Thankfully, they were not a one-hit wonder, and they went on to make a lot of really good records. And as for Linkin Park, I do have only three of their albums on vinyl. This one and the succeeding one, Meteora, and the one more live. Okay, uh, Meteora. Another record I absolutely enjoy. I'm a big fan of Linkin Park. These guys, they were the aha of the new millennium because they sure as hell did some really great videos. They they understood the power of visuals, like aha back during the new wave years, and Linkin Park. Just love them. Look at that. Spray paint. Their videos are just awesome. Sometimes it reminded me of Duran's arts and stuff. Oh, Greg Alexander and the New Radicals, their one and only album. No, they weren't a one hit wonder. It's just that Greg has his own ideas about his music. And this is a record that you can play on and on. There's really nothing here that cannot throw away. He's, in my opinion, one of the best songwriters to come up from the time that this album came out and up to today. As you all know, he's done stuff with Danielle Brisiba, uh, the soundtrack for Begin Again, among many others. He co-wrote The Game of Love, which turned out to be a hit for Santana with Michelle Branch, and there's just so much more. And this is a great album. This is like the template for everything that Greg Alexander has done. He's a gifted and clever lyricist with an ear for melody. This guy can sure write hit songs. The next one I'm going to show you is one of my prized records in my collection. Prized. Um, the reason being, there aren't many copies of this out there. The original first press of Nirvana's Nevermind. Yep, first pressing. Man, this record started a revolution right there. I'm just so happy to have this, and yeah, this is one of those things you had to have. Hearing Teen Spirit, Smells Like Teen Spirit, Lithium. They were on heavy MTV rotation. Anyone who haven't played them a lot, and, uh, you were hearing them everywhere, and they were just so massive. And it was my introduction to the great Kurt Cobain, and of course the most talented Dave Grohl. Um, it's a great record. Um, they ripped off the Pixies with this one, but it's a masterpiece, no doubt. You know, this is one of my really prized records. That ain't going anywhere. The next two albums are from British band Oasis. Um, I like Oasis. Some people might be ashamed to say that they're fans of Oasis, but I say that in all honesty because I like this band a lot. I like them from this album, definitely, maybe. When they first came out, I got the compact disc, so the vinyl versions I only got later on. And the first album, Live Forever, it's just a great song. Supersonic is my favorite in this record. And I played it to death, and I thought that's one of the best albums of the 90s until this one came out. What's the Story, Morning Glory? And it's recently celebrated its 25th anniversary of October 2nd. So I made my pilgrimages to Berwick Street to go to Sister Ray, Reckless Records, and all that to have my picture taken in this spot for this iconic cover. Um, for some people, they're being a fan of Oasis ended with What's the Story, Morning Glory. Me no. I like Be Here Now, which I felt was like the band Sergeant Pepper. Um, I love Dig Out Your Soul. There's just I like everything. You know, they're just kind of arrogant though. Imagine your greatest hits is titled "Familiar to Millions." What arrogant pricks, right? But they sure know how to make great music. Huh? Craig, who are you referring to? Oasis? Okay. Around the same time that Nirvana was very popular. Pearl Jam. It was my brother Robin who got me into Pearl Jam, turned me on to Pearl Jam. I wasn't a Pearl Jam fan right away. I was into Nirvana and Soundgarden, but I only got into Pearl Jam with Versus, their second album. And then I backtracked and got 10. That is a great record as well. A really good record. And today I just love Pearl Jam. I love their music. I have all their stuff on compact disc though. I only have a couple of their records on vinyl. These two and their latest, Giganton, and I have some of their stuff on from Record Store Day, but you'll see that in another video. I think these guys make great music, and Eddie Vedder's voice is one of a kind. It's their latest album, and this is very good. I thought after a while they had hit their creative peak, but no, Uh, I honestly thought that bands stopped, just my opinion, with Vitalogy. I know they put out a few more records after that, but for me it was Vitalogy, and then this one, you know. But the more I listen to their old stuff, I really like it, even the stuff that I didn't like before. Pixies' Wave of Mutilation. When this first came out on CD, the CD version, they did not put out any vinyl of this right away. It's meant to supplant Death to the Pixies as the greatest. And I do have the CD of Death to the Pixies. I did get the CD of this along with the DVD, the companion DVD, and I still have it to this day. And when this came out, this is a no-brainer. I mean, I love the Pixies. They were the inspiration for many bands with their soft, loud dynamics and all that. There's really nothing here in this compilation that I do not like. Um, I got to see them when they reunited, but not with the current lineup. Okay. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Californication. First record of the Chili Peppers that I ever had, and this is the original pressing of that one. I mean, they had put out a lot of hits, but my brother was more into them than I was. In fact, my brother's band, when they used to perform in Red, they would cover the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So, but when this came out, this is when I became a fan of the band. Um, their greatest hits. So I have all their stuff on CD. It's complete, but for vinyl, I only have two. Rage Against the Machine, the repress of this one, and this is a great record. It's blistering rock and roll, protest rock and roll, and this metal meets rap, hard rock meets rap, hip hop. And look at that cover. I'm just a fan of Rat M. I never got to see Rat M, but maybe I will one day. People of the Sun EP. I only got this a couple of years ago, because again, most of my stuff for Rage were on compact disc. This is the first Rage Against the Machine record that I got. Evil Empire. This is the first pressing of Evil Empire. And I thought it was, at first, I couldn't digest this after you listen to the first album, but it grew on me, and now I just really like this record. Sometimes I think that you have to just really pay attention and not do anything and fully focus on the music for you to appreciate it. Because if you're busy and it just slips, it doesn't register at all. Rage is a very good record. Um, Came out, I think, 2003, 2004, something like that. They were doing uh, covers of their favorite songs, but it just sounds so different because of Rage Against the Machine. One of my favorite bands of all time, Smashing Pumpkins, Gish. Just really great record. I think the moment I heard Siva, I got into them, and then Rhinoceros. This is just a really good record. One of the best bands of all time, in my opinion. I just wish the RC was back to the band, but they have a lot of issues. Machina, The Machines of God, the original first pressing, and my favorite is Gish, followed by this album. Siamese Dreams, okay. There's a lot, but my favorite would be the first, and then Gish, and then this one. There are just so many really good songs here. Melancholy is okay. I like Melancholy. I do. But this is one of my favorites right here. Even when the arts left, they still put out some great stuff. Not everyone may like it, but I do. I do like it. Um, when this came out, I thought it was really a great record. It was the first post the RC album that I actually liked, Oceania. Uh, this is, wow, heavy stuff. So much different from the stuff that they used to put out, Quasar, Panoptica, and the Celestials. So I thought that they were going into a different territory with their music. Some people dismissed them after Machina, but Tarantula wasn't much to my liking, but Oceania, I love this. It told me that they were back, and then they put out Shiny and Also Bright. Now that um, James Ehow is back along with Jimmy Chamberlain. So this one was put out under Napalm Records. And if you heard Billy Corgan the other day, he said that they're doing a sequel to this as well as a sequel to Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. I love this record. Really do love this record. You know? Ah, Smashing Pumpkins, greatest hits, Rotten Apples, prized record, prized record in my collection. This is a bootleg album performing live in Chicago. It sounds good. So I figured I must have taken it off the soundboard. But this is the classic lineup, you know. Here. A few more records into this particular video and rack. The original dressing of Temple of the Dog. Um, it's okay. I'll be honest, I've never really sat down to fully listen to this record because the only thing I listen to is Hunger Strike. Because I think that Eddie Vedder's got a great voice and just really made that song. I'm guilty because when I listen to the other songs, I'm not really paying attention. Maybe I will one of these days. And I did it with Chris Cornell. And speaking of Chris Cornell, Soundgarden. I have all their stuff on compact disc. This is the only one that I have on vinyl. And I only got this a few years ago. Super Unknown. Really, really great record. I love this. Love this album. My Wave, Fell on Black Days, Super Unknown, Black Hole Sun, Spoonman, you know, solid record. Third Eye Blind. The version that came out on compact disc is a different cover, different color cover. It's more brown than red. And this is a very good record. The first six tracks are just awesome. And just really makes this record worth it. You know. First six songs, great ones. Um, emo rock right here. Great music. I still play them a lot to this day. Second to the last record I'm going to show you tonight, The Wallflowers, Glad All Over. This came out a couple of years ago. Now, I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm not a big fan of The Wallflowers. They're okay. But the fact that this is my only album of The Wallflowers, I don't even have the one CD, says something. You know, they're just bands. They're okay, but you don't really get them. I got this for one reason, because Nick Jones was involved in two of the songs here. Misfits and Lovers and Reboot the Mission. You gotta see the video for Reboot the Mission by The Wallflowers, and you're gonna hear Mick Jones' distinctive voice. Yes, Mick Jones of The Clash. Such a very good song. This is a really good record. Really good record. There. Okay, you gotta listen to Reboot the Mission. Check them out on YouTube. The last record I want to show you in this particular rack, Weezer, the Blue Album. This has got to be one of the great records of the 1990s, and probably will go on as one of the best records of all time. You know, just geek rock, you know. My Name is Jonas, The World Has Turned Left and Left Me Here, Buddy Holly, of course, Undone the Sweater Song, Say It Ain't So, Holiday, you know. Damn, what a good record. There's nothing here that you're going to throw away. It's a great, great record. And it's the only one that I have of Weezer, to be honest. I do have their stuff, some of their other albums on compact disc, but this is the only one that I have on vinyl. So like I said earlier, I usually get, if I have it on compact disc and I got it on compact disc the first time around, I will only get the vinyl if the album is really good, and it sounds great on wax. So this is it. There. Obviously, I'm not done with my alternative nation 90s and even the rock from the new millennium. You'll see them here. These are the harder rock ones with progressive rock. So I'll probably do another one of that one. Craig, yeah, Craig, you have to check out the video for that one, Craig. You're gonna like it because Mick Jones is there, Craig. Well, it's okay if you got into Weezer late. That's okay. Um, oh, some of my students are watching. Hi, Bianca. Hi, Gerald. All right, there. What else do I say about my records here? Yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah, Craig, you have to check it out. I do agree. Yeah, the arrogance. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I guess that's it for tonight's episode of My Infinite Playlist. And thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time. Bye bye.